Hey guys, PokemonTCG here with another Pokemon video. So today we're going to be doing a deck profile on Sylveon Gardevoir, and let's get right into it. So Sylveon Gardevoir is probably going to be the most played deck at the upcoming regionals in Connecticut this weekend. So I decided to make this video for anybody needing a deck to play or a deck to practice against. So let's get right into it. So the first card, Eevee, with its ability Energy Evolution, you can attach a basic energy card from your hand to this Pokemon and search your deck for a Pokemon that evolves from Eevee and put it down. So you can search for a Sylveon turn 1 and put it onto Eevee. So I'll show you what Sylveon does. For 1 energy, Sylveon does Magical Ribbon and searches your deck for 3 cards and puts them into your hand. So that is really good. Just grabbing 3 cards, not revealing them, and 3 of any card. So you can grab a Pokemon, a trainer, energy, a supporter, anything. You can grab anything, which is insane, for 1 energy. And you could possibly be doing this the first turn, which is insane. You also have 200 HP on technically a basic Pokemon, which is great, and has the attack Fairy Wind for Fairy and DCE, does 120 damage, so that's really good. Just to take the easy KOs early game on evolving Pokemon. Also, it has the GX attack, Plea GX, which you can put 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon and all cards attached to it into their hand. So imagine having 2 evolved and energy loaded Gardevoirs on your opponent's bench, and you could just Plea GX, pick them all up, and they're destroyed basically. They have no setup at all, and all their energies attachments are gone. So that's really great, just to disrupt your opponent so you can set up. So that's basically Sylveon, and amazing early setup Pokemon. And since Gardevoir is evolution deck, you need time to set up, but with Sylveon you can get Gardevoir turn 2. You can even get 2 turn 2, which is insane. Sylveon is a really good card. So start off the Gardevoir line. You have Ralts with its attack Draining Kiss, does 10 damage and heals 10 from this Pokemon. Not exactly great, but not exactly bad for a basic Pokemon, so really good. And since it evolves in such a great Pokemon, it's just amazing. I don't know. It doesn't have to be a good basic when your stage 2 is like the most broken card in the game right now. So let's get on to Kirlia. So Kirlia has 80 HP for Smack for 20 for 1 energy. Not that bad for stage 1. And for Fairy Colorless, 30 damage. Not that great, but still pretty good. And then you go into the final evolutions. We have Gallade with its ability Premonition, which once during your turn, you may look at the top 5 cards of your deck and put them back on the top of your deck in any order. It's basically just give you information and rearrange the top cards of your deck, see what you're drawing. In combination with Octillery, which Octillery has the ability Abyssal Hand, you can draw until you have 5 cards, but you normally don't draw 5 cards. You normally draw like 1 or 2. You can put the top 2 cards you want there and then Abyssal Hand and draw straight into them. That's really good. And then the main attacker of the deck, Gardevoir GX, which is, with its 230 HP. That's ridiculous. Once during your turn, you can attach a Fairy Energy from your hand with its ability Secret Spring. So that's insane. And it doesn't count as your energy attachment. So you can attach an energy and Secret Spring. And since you have multiple Gardevoirs, you can Secret Spring 3 times if you want to, which is insane. Also, you have the attack Infinite Force, which does 30 times the amount of energies attached to both active Pokemon. And since you can attach multiple energies per turn, you can do, if you attach a double Colorless and Secret Spring 3 times and then attach a Choice Band, you can be doing 180 damage in 1 turn of attachments, which is insane. Also, it has an amazing GX attack, just like Sylveon, with Twilight GX, which you could shuffle 10 cards from your discard pile into your deck. So, say for example, you're facing against a Gardevoir deck, which Gardevoir does 20 times the amount of item cards in your discard pile. You can, so say for example you have 10, you can shuffle all 10 of them back, which they would normally be doing 200. Now they're doing 0. So that's really good. Okay, so now let's go into the major support Pokemon. So we have Tapu Lele GX, which has 170 HP. Wonder Tag, you can search your deck for a supporter card and put it into your hands. I assume most of you guys know what Tapu Lele does, but still worth explaining. And it has the attack energy drive, does 20 damage times the amount of energies attached to both actives. Again, just like Gardevoir, but on a basic. So you can still use Secret Spring and load it up. And I'm pretty sure you can do up to 130 in one turn with just attachments, which is insane. On a basic, which is just insane. Also, we have another support Pokemon. Well, this is its pre-evolved form, Remoraid, which has the attack Ion Pool, which discards a Stadium. So I prefer to use the Ion Pool's Remoraid instead of Wild River, because Ion Pool discards a Stadium card, and Stadium cards are pretty essential to the game, and just disrupting somebody for 1 energy, not really that bad. And then you have its evolved form, Octillery, with its ability Abyssal Hand that I showed you before. You could draw 5 cards, up to 5 cards into your hand, which is insane. So you could be drawing 5 cards off an ability, which is amazing. Okay, so that's all the Pokemon. So you run 2 Eevees, 2 Sylveons, 4 Ralts, 3 Kirlias, 1 Gallade, 3 Gardevoirs, 3 Tapu Leles, 1 Remoraid, and 1 Octillery. So let's go into the Field Blowers. Or, not the Field Blowers, the items. Well, we're starting with Field Blower. So we run 2 Field Blowers. You can choose up to 2 of any combination of Pokemon Tool cards or Stadium cards and discard pile, and put them into the discard pile. So that's really good for disruption. And since Stadium cards kind of affect the game a lot, with like Fairy Garden, Po Town, Parallel City, a ton of things, really affects the game. If you can play this down, really hurts them. Also, can just discard tools, which also affect the game so much, with another Garbodor card that has the ability Garbatoxin, which shuts off abilities if you have tool cards attached. If you have a tool card attached to it, and since this deck is reliant on abilities with Secret Spring, Premonition, Energy Evolution, Wonder Tag, and Abyssal Hand, you're going to really want to discard that. So that's really good. Then you have Rare Candies, which you can choose up to 1 of your basic Pokemon in play and evolve it from that Pokemon into an evolution. So basically, you can evolve a Ralt into a Kirlia, into a Gardevoir right away with skipping the evolution into Kirlia. So basically, you go from this to this in 1 turn. So that's really good. And I feel like if you guys really want to do well at any regionals or league cups, this is definitely the deck to play, in my opinion. It has great matchups against everything, and really helps just destroy any deck that comes in your way. And if you can outplay your opponents and learn this deck really well, it is just insane. This deck isn't free, though. This deck you have to work and practice with. It is really complicated in some areas with the ability to attach energies, and since people can do damage now with Tapu Lele, determining the amount of energies you have, you can't stack a ton of energies on. You gotta spread them out to do enough damage and to not take so much damage. So math is weird, but once you practice it for like a few games, probably like 20 games, you get the hang of it, so that's no problem. So you also have the card Rescue Stretcher, which you could put a Pokemon from your discard pile into your hand and shuffle 3 cards from your discard pile, 3 Pokemon from your discard pile into your deck. So that's really good. You get to choose one of those. So either you can throw it into your hand or take it from the discard pile and put it into your deck. So that is really good. You also have Super Rod, which pretty much does the same thing. Oops. There we go. You can shuffle 3 combination of Pokemon cards and Pokemon and energy cards from your discard pile into your deck, so that's really good. And it's your only way to get back energies in this deck besides using Twilight GX, so just really good for an item card nonetheless, so it's really great. Also, the staple item card in every deck, Ultra Ball. Yeah, you run 4 of these. You can discard 2 cards from your hand and search your deck for a Pokemon, reveal it, and put it into your hand. So that is great just to get Pokemon really easily. And it has like no cost. You discard 2 cards, right? Yeah. But you can just use Twilight and put them back if you really need them. Or you can use Abyssal Hand since you're thinning your hand down to draw cards you really need. So it's really good. And to thin your deck, you could just play Ultra Ball and discard 2 cards you won't need later, and then play N and have a less chance of drawing bad cards. So it's just a really good card all around. Okay, so now let's get into the supporters. We run Acerola, which puts one of your Pokemon that has damage counters on it and all cards attached to it into your hand. So basically, if your Gardevoir has 220 damage or like 200 damage, you can pick it up and all the damage goes away. Your opponent does not take a prize card and all of your energies go back to your hand. And since you'll probably have another Gardevoir when you set it up, you can just Secret Spring your energies back with no cost, which is insane. You only run one of those because it is pretty much a situational card. Not like you're not going to use it every other turn, so one should do. You also run Bridget, which you can search your deck for up to 3 basic Pokemon or 1 basic EX, but since you don't run any EXs, you can just grab 3 basic Pokemon, which is great since you can Ultra Ball for Tapu Lele on the first turn, use Wonder Tag and grab Bridget, and just get 3 bench Pokemon instead of your normal 1. So that's just really good as an early game tool. And you can grab like an Eevee, or Ralts, or Emerald, or like 3 Raltses if you want. And you can grab any combination, it's just really good. And it's pretty much a staple in most decks with evolving, and most decks that don't evolve either. Since you can grab GX Pokemon, it only says EXs since it was printed so long ago. So it's just a really good card. Another support card you run is Guzma, which you can switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with their active. You get to choose, so that's really good. It's basically a Lysander, but you also get to switch your active Pokemon with one of your benches. So basically you can, say for example you need to retreat to attack, you can use Guzma and send up the Pokemon you want to attack, which is just insane in one card, which is amazing. Also, now let's get into our draw support for the deck. You run N, which each player shuffles his or her hand into your deck and draws the amount of cards for your prize cards remaining. So, say for example you have 6 prize cards, your opponent has 1, you draw 6 cards and they draw 1. So that's just a really good disruption and draw card. So, pretty much a staple in every deck. Same as Sycamore, which you just discard your hand and draw 7 cards. Just a really good draw support. Now let's go into the tools. We have here Choice Band, which the attacks of your cards do 30 more damage if you're attacking Pokemon EX or GX, and it's before applying weakness or resistance, so that's really good. Just to finish off those KOs you couldn't hit by attaching energies, you can just draw on a Choice Band. You can throw as many Choice Bands on as you want per turn. Only 1 per Pokemon, but still really good. You run 2 of those. You also run 2 Floatstones, which lowers the retreat cost of a Pokemon to none. So basically just free retreat. Say for example if you don't get an Eevee as your starting Pokemon, you can still attack with Magical Ribbon if you go second by attaching a Floatstone to the active and an energy to Energy Evolution to Sylveon, and then just retreat and Magical Ribbon. Really good card. And then finally you get into the energies. We run 4 double colorless energies and 8 fairies. Double colorless is just really good, so you can do damage with Infinite Force and Energy Drive. And since your ability Secret Spring does allows you to attach fairy energies, that's why you run 8 of them. So this is basically the Gardevoir Sylveon deck. Feel free to make any changes if you want to. So I hope you guys enjoyed this type of video. If you guys see me at Connecticut Regionals, make sure to say hi. Hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It's been PokemonTCG. Thanks for watching. Bye!